Hey y'all, I'm back with a Project Life spread, and this is week 5, and I'm really making progress on this. I'm pretty proud of myself. I started off by fast forwarding this I think it's like 8 times speed or something like that, because a lot of this is cutting papers and going through some of the things that I'm going to be using. I was not prepared for this layout in the least bit. I think I just thought I would go through my scraps and find what I could use and cut them down, and then I realized I needed bigger pieces of paper to cut down, and it just kind of became a little bit of a mess. So I sped this up pretty rapidly, and then I'm cutting this piece of heart. Those are Lawn Fawn die cut like hearts that I cut out of that gold glitter paper, and I just set it in my scrap bucket, and I decided I would use that at a different time, and I thought it'd be cool to back it with some sort of like paper for either part of a layout or part of a spread. So I don't think I even end up using that because it gets lost in the crazy pile that I have going on the left side there. So right now I'm just cutting down some of my 6x6 paper pads. Like I said, my thoughts were to use my scraps, and then I realized I didn't have any scraps that were like whole enough to fit onto this. I did have some, but not with the color scheme that I was going for. And so I was really trying to figure out what colors I wanted to use. So I went through some of my paper pads, and I actually pulled the Amelia paper pad, which is where I get most of my papers from for this particular, the Amelia and Baxter paper pads from Studio Calico is where I get most of my color scheme from. I also pulled, I think, maybe a couple from, I want to say it's like Jen Hadfield with, who does she design for? Like Pebbles, maybe? And it's one of those collections. I think it's like a home collection or something. It's a really pretty collection. I'm using these LA Studio stamps. They have, I think there's like 3 different kinds of this font. I think there's like polka dot stripe versions, and then there's one that's like polka dot stripes and then maybe something else um, as like each stamp. It's like different. I'm sorry if that does not make any sense. But then there's like another stamp that's like that's completely solid, and then there's another stamp set, alphabet stamp set that's like outlined. And I think you can get like all 3 and make it look really cool. But and do all 3 different colors or however you want. But I got this one, and I just got the ones that are filled in, but they're filled in by using like polka dots and stripes. So, right now I'm just cutting down. This is the paper pad I was talking about. This is called Amelia from Studio Calico, and I really like the color scheme in that pad, and so I decided to kind of flow with that. And I noticed that using that striped red, pink, and white paper was pretty heavy up there at the top, and it was really heavy next to that other paper. Well, actually, I take that back. It was heavy, but didn't even like really match. Like the pinks didn't match, so I chose this paper with like the crosses on it, which I thought ended up looking a lot better. And I actually add a little something else to kind of soften that paper up at the top of the right hand corner. I'm cutting some 2x2 grids for the center there, for the center part of the spread. And these papers I believe came from that same paper pad, the Amelia paper pad, and they're good. Those are good papers for just like to have something neutral, to add something neutral to your spread or to add something neutral to your layouts. I feel like there used to be like there might still be, but I want to say Project Life used to sell like a pack of grid Project Life cards, and I could be wrong, but those just kind of remind me of those, and I really like the way that those looked, although they're a little plain if you don't add a lot to it, and so I do add some things to those grid cards. As you see there, I added a pink polka dot paper to the top right hand one, and that really took down it kind of like broke up the red from that particular card and then the other card, and so I like the way that turned out. And then I added a pink and gold label to that middle 2x2 card, and I just put some I think it says reading with mommy on I typed it up, and then I just adhered it to that label. And then most of my journaling is going to be typed, if not all of it. I have not handwritten anything, and I know a lot of you are probably like, why not? Because it's really good, I think, to see handwriting later on in life and that kind of thing. But I really love the look of typewriter, and I think it just makes my pages look much neater, and I'm much happier with the look of it. And so some people have like really great handwriting and can pull that off, and just for me personally, I don't like the way that my handwriting looks on these pages. Um, my dog's making noise if you hear that. And I'm just cutting up. So sometimes I like to keep my typing all in one solid piece, and then sometimes I like to cut it up in strips. And so there I cut it up in strips and just adhered it right onto the photo, which for me, like previously, I probably wouldn't have done that as much, but I see a lot of people, take risks like that, and I really like the way that it turns out. And so I just decided to do that. And I even add something else to that, to the top, right on top of the photo. And that's, like I said, unlike me, but I really like the way that it turns out. Okay, and then I also added that little square card that I just added to, or embellishment that I added to that picture. I actually took up quite a bit of the picture, but you can still see my baby's face, and then you can still see like that, the fact that I'm holding up a book. And so it says "You and Me," and I think that's a piece of ephemera from Banana Fish Studio, which I don't know if that still exists, because I want to say I went to their website several months ago, and I was not able to like get through on it. So I don't know if they no longer have like a shop or what. So, or I was going to the wrong place. I don't really know. But I added that Cork EXO is from Target, and it's from their little craft aisle. I think I've talked about those before, and I have used those I think we'll use that on my first spread. And then those are We Are Memory Keeper cork sayings. And then I added a little Wonder puppy sticker there. And then the scissors that I added behind the photo where I took a picture of my craft things, though I believe that's from like the Craft Market collection. I'm just kind of, this is, so after I got done with this layout, I felt that I really needed to get organized. And so I think what I'm going to do, I'm actually off tomorrow. So I think what I'm going to do is go through all of my embellishments and my ephemera and try to organize those by like category, or I don't really know. I don't know if I'm gonna do it by color or by florals and hearts or what, because I find myself looking for something specific, and it's really hard to like dig through all my ephemera. And that's not all of it. That's just like stuff that I've used recently that I pull, and that maybe I don't, or stuff that I pull to use and I don't actually use. So I think part of the issue is it becomes overwhelming because there's so much to choose from. And so I think if I narrow it down, it'll make it a lot easier for me. So I'm starting with the next spread, or the other side of this particular layout. And again, I'm cutting down my papers. Now, with that being said, I cut down these papers, and I have a little guide next to me showing, like, reminding me the sizes that I need to cut them down. Either I'm like a really terrible measurer, or like, or I just didn't do them right the first time. I don't really know, because I thought that I measured these and then wrote down the sizes, and then when I was cutting these papers and I tried to fit them into the pockets, they did not fit. So I have to end up cutting them all down, and I speed that up very rapidly towards the end. And so you guys will see me having to do that. But right now I'm just embellishing. I'm trying to do the same process that I did the last spread, where I did the bulk, like the meat of the layout, where I added, the main things like the photos and then the journaling, and then I go back and embellish, which I think really helps the process. Here, obviously, it looks like I'm embellishing as I go, but I kind of had an idea of where I wanted to go with that particular card, and so I really wanted to get that down. So so the ice cream and the popsicle has nothing to do with this spread, other than the fact that it's summer, and it's kind of a celebratory layout, or this side is because we're celebrating that she's a month old there. And I did write a little something about her being 1 month and all the things that she likes, and At this time, she loved to nap. Of course, all newborn baby or all infants love to nap. And then, or most, I guess. And then she loved ceiling fans. I don't know that I included that though. Um, she loved to read. And I really noticed like her at a young age paid, I want to say paid attention, but she um, seemed like she was paying attention to books. Like if I when I was reading to her, she would look at me or look at the the book that I was holding up or whatever. And so it really makes a lot of sense because she loves books. Like I will purchase them for her, and or I have several books here, but for Valentine's Day, that was one of like the main. I gave her a few books, and she loves the touch and feel books, and she'll like touch it and then touch the right area, and then she'll wait for me to like turn the page so she can finish reading it. Like hurry up so I can touch the next thing. So she loves books, and um, even my aunt watches her during the day, and she'll even tell me, "Oh, she loves reading time. She gets so excited." And so I'm really glad that I read to her at a young age because she's um, really into books, even just like wanting to turn the pages, which I'm sure a lot of babies are. But uh, I just think it's really cute that she gets so excited about reading. Hopefully, it stays that way. I was not much of a reader. Anyway, back to the layout. I completely digressed. Okay, so I added a couple things. I backed the here's the story was actually a piece of ephemera. I cut it up and backed it with some glitter paper. Now I'm just adding one of my homemade embellishments to this particular card. I needed something, and I just needed to add a little pop of color, and so I added a little floral piece, and then the wood veneer that I added um, is from LA Studio. So here's where you'll see I struggle with this, and I'm cutting them down. And so that made it a lot easier. Now the 2x2s were no problem, but it was these bigger sizes. They're just really off. Um, I don't know what I cut them down to, but it wasn't the right size. So you guys will see in the final photos a little, like the details and things a little bit more up close. And I hope you guys enjoyed this process, and sorry that I got a little bit off topic, but if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'm trying to respond like as soon as I get the questions because otherwise I'll forget and I won't respond. But have a great rest of the week, and I'll hopefully have another video up for you guys tomorrow. Have a great week.